So with our Singer Denim sewing machine, let's talk about a few tips that will be useful for you when you want to sew different types of denim fabrics. For light to medium weight denim fabrics, like a chambray for example, you're going to want to use a size 14 jeans needle. And your machine comes with this little pack of needles. You can tell that they're jeans needles. They're a little bit of a light blue color up here to identify them as jeans. And then you'll see there's a second color here just at the base of that, which is a darker blue, and that means that these are the size 14, which is perfect for something like a chambray. These other two on the end here, they have more of a purple color on them, and those are for your heavier weight denims, and we'll talk about those in just a bit. But right now we're going to change to a size 14, a 90-14 jeans needle. So to set the machine for our seam on our chambray fabric, I'm going to set the machine for straight stitch. Stitch length maybe between a 2 and 3 depending on the look you like for your project. Make sure your width is set at 0. Needle position in the center, and your thread tension set between the 3 and the 5. And we're ready to sew. And there you have your seam on your chambray. You can use whatever seam allowance you wish for your project. For sewing seams on medium to heavyweight denim, you're going to want to use the needles that have the purple color down here at the bottom. Those are your heavier weight needles. So you need the heavier weight needle because it's stronger for sewing through the thicker parts of your seams, but also if you use heavier weight threads, they can accommodate them better. So we'll change to the size 100 or size 16 needle. To thread your machine for sewing your denim seams, you can use an all-purpose thread in both your bobbin and the top of the machine. If you'd rather use a top stitching thread on your seams, you would use that in your needle only, but you'd still thread your bobbin with the all-purpose thread. To set your machine, set your stitch selector dial to straight stitch. Your stitch length, maybe somewhere 3 to 4, depending on the look you like. Leave it about 3.5 there. Stitch width at 0 because we're doing a straight stitch. In our needle position in center. Your tension you want between the 3 and the 5. With a heavier thread in the needle, you may find that if you test on a scrap of fabric that you might want to loosen it slightly, but generally between the 3 and the 5. And we're ready to sew the rest of our flat fell seam. And there you have it. Looks just like store-bought jeans. When you sew your jeans hems, make sure you just slow down a little bit when you do these. And there you have it. Denims come in a wide range of weights or thicknesses, and if you're working with a heavier weight denim, that'll mean that when you're hemming your jeans, that lump seam is going to be particularly thick, and it might need a little help when you sew over it. So your machine came with this little tool. It's called a clearance plate. There's a thinner side and a thicker side, and which side you use just depends on the thickness of the heavy seam you have. But this will help keep your presser foot level as you sew over the thicker part. So let's see how that works. I'm going to sew up until the toes of my presser foot come up to the thicker part of the seam. And just as you see those feet beginning to rise, you're going to leave your needle down in the fabric, raise the presser foot lifter, and bring your tool. This is kind of a U shape, and this goes on each side of the needle. The opening goes on each side of the needle. And just slide that behind the foot. Lower the presser foot lifter and sew across the thick part of the seam. What this is doing is it's keeping your foot nice and level. And as you begin to come off the thick part of the seam, take the tool and bring it around front and place it in front for just a few stitches, keeping it level until the foot is clear of the thicker part. If you have to stop for just a moment to just give it a little more room to completely clear that thick seam, then go ahead and do that. And then just raise the presser foot, remove the tool, and continue sewing. And here you've successfully stitched over that thick seam for your hem. If you'd like more information about your machine, just check out the Singer manual, which is available to view or download anytime on the Singer website.